Notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 27, 2023. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper posted on public bulletin boards and the Township website.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontoriero. Councilman Ambrosino.
Here.
Councilman Minikino.
Here.
Councilwoman Travers. Vice President Zapsik.
Here.
President DeYoung.
Here.
Thank you.
Everybody, please stand for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. May I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the September 26th meeting, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilman Minikino.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to do a presentation. It was left off of the agenda by accident of the Friends of the Library. I will ask the mayor, along with the Friends of the Library, to please come on up.
So excited to be here. I say this every time, but I can't help myself. As a former librarian, I love anything having to do with the library, especially the public library, because you really, honestly, the library is the place where everyone from the community can gather to do so many things. So I have a proclamation in honor of National Friends of Libraries Week, and I would like to read it to you now. So the Friends of the Brick Branch of Ocean County Library enable our library to move from good to great by providing resources for additional programming, equipment, support for children, summer reading, and special events throughout the year. The work of the Friends of the Library highlights that our library is the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of lifelong learning and connect with the thoughts and ideas of others from ages past to present. They understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our library gets the resources it needs to provide a wide variety of services to all ages, including access to print and electronic materials, along with expert assistance in research, reader's advisory, and children's services. The Friends' gift of their time and commitment to the library sets an example for all in how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. Therefore, I, Lisa Grape, Mayor of the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean in the state of New Jersey, in recognition of National Friends of the Library, proclaim this week of October 15th through 21st, 2023, National Friends of Libraries Week in the Township of Brick, and I call upon all residents to thank them for their time and dedication to ensure our library is the best place that it can be. Thank you. Yeah, well, okay.
That's the best.
No.
It's the best it works. It's not working? Yours is working, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my name is Marilyn Longo, and I am
He's
now
working
the
today.
president of Friends of the Brick Library. And during this week, the third week in October, we try to put out a few little activities for everyone in town, or out of town, doesn't matter, right? So we were going to
My name is Natalie, and I am a librarian at Hebert Library. I'm very pleased and fortunate to be able to accept this proclamation on the library's behalf. And I just really want to give my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to our friends. They have allowed us to do so many wonderful things for the community, put on so many programs, and we always appreciate their contributions because we would not be able to do as much as we do at the library without their efforts.
Not gonna touch it. Okay. Thank you again for our librarians for coming out and for our friends in the library. We really appreciate all that you do. We also, I'm sorry, did you want, can I didn't want to step on Council President's toes here. We also have an Eagle Scout here this evening that we are going to be honoring. So if I could please have Aiden Nadu come up, please. Thank you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Aiden and his project. Tonight we are recognizing Aiden for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, the highest rank a Boy Scout can achieve. It is a very rare achievement. Roughly 5% of eligible Scouts ever become an Eagle Scout. Since 1912, there have been about 2.5 million Eagle Scouts out of all of the young people who have been in Scouts. Some pretty remarkable Americans have achieved Eagle Scout, including astronaut Neil Armstrong, Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, William Hanna of Hanna-Barbera, our Congressman Chris Smith, and Director Steven Spielberg. Others include Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, and Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City, and Basketball Hall of Famer and U.S. Senator Bill Bradley. Achieving Eagle Scout is a years-long process during which the Scouts must be fully committed, and they have to earn 21 merit badges, and they must do their project for the community. And we are always so grateful for our Eagle Scouts when they do these projects, because community is really a theme that we have here in Brick Township, and the idea that our Eagle Scouts are working hard within our community and for our community and to add to our community is wonderful. So I'm going to ask Aiden to talk about his project, and then I believe he has some assistants here. So if you guys want to come up while he's talking about it, and then we'll do a picture, that would be great. Come on down. Oh, you don't need that? Sorry.
So for my project, I went to an animal shelter called All for One. It's on Brick Boulevard. And they take dogs and cats from kill centers in Virginia, and they let them get adopted here in New Jersey. But every year, or every like 6 months or so, they drive up to Virginia in a big truck, and they have to go pick up all the dogs and come back. And it was hard because they didn't have a lot of room, and so I decided to help there because I love animals. So what they did, they gave me a big checklist of everything that they needed done. And instead of doing like one thing that usually is what an Eagle Scout project is, I decided to do everything that they gave me on the checklist, which was cool to look back and see all the little things that I did around the shelter. And I've heard back, and I heard that they really have used everything that I've done and appreciate it. And these guys behind me helped me and encouraged me along the way of getting Eagle. That's it. Yeah.
We got to step back all the way back towards the
to our consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Very good, thank you. 4-1,
Authorization to bid roadway improvements to Laurel Manor.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the roadway improvements to Laurel Manor project. The project scope includes paving parts of Elizabeth Avenue, specifically south of Princeton Avenue, as well as Lorman Avenue, Johnson Street, Robertson's Court, and Freedom Road. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-2,
Authorization to bid fire safety services.
Councilman Minikino.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bid for fire safety services. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-3,
Authorize award of contract floodplain software license renewal.
yes.
If he wanted to give a more lengthy explanation, it's
I
not
can give that.
required.
I can give that. The fire safety services is a new bid requested by the township's safety inspector and building and ground supervisor due to spending on these services over the past 2 years. This bid will include the following services: annual fire panel inspections and testing at various township locations, annual device inspections and testing, alarm system monitoring, annual system monitoring, annual sprinkler system inspections at various township locations, and repairs of all devices and equipment. The township currently solicits these services through formal quotes as through cooperative agreements. Over the past year, the township has spent approximately $45,000 with Allied Fire and Safety, as well as alarm and communications technologies for these services. Due to repairs becoming more frequent, spending has increased, and it is better to have these services completed by one vendor. 4-3.
Authorize award of contract floodplain software license renewal.
Council Vice President Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for floodplain software license renewal to Forerunner Industries, San Francisco, California, in the amount of $13,500. The Forerunner software is used by the engineering and land use departments to assist in floodplain management, floodplain mapping, and community outreach and education. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-4.
Authorize shared service agreement with Ocean County Prosecutor's Office driving while intoxicated enforcement program.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a shared service agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for driving while intoxicated enforcement program, which is aimed at identifying and removing intoxicated drivers from the roadway. As part of this agreement, Brick Township agrees to provide the manpower when needed for enforcement. Township receives a flat hourly rate reimbursement for the police officers assigned to this enforcement.
Thank you. 4-5.
Authorize shared service agreement with Ocean County Prosecutor's Office Move Over Law Enforcement Program.
Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for the Move Over Law Enforcement Initiative. The law requires motor vehicle operators to reduce their speed and change lanes when approaching authorized vehicles displaying emergency lights. Those vehicles include police, fire, medical service vehicles, and also highway maintenance, tow trucks, and official motorist aid vehicles which display amber emergency lights. Where possible, drivers are required to move over to create an empty lane next to the emergency vehicle. When safely changing lanes is not possible, drivers must slow down below the posted speed limit to pass the emergency vehicles. as part of this agreement, Brick Township agrees to provide the manpower when needed for enforcement. The township receives a flat hourly rate for reimbursement for the police officers assigned to this enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-6.
Authorize shared services agreement with Ocean County Prosecutor's Office Drug Recognition Expert Call-Out Program.
Council Vice President Zemsak.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for Drug Recognition Expert Call-Out Program, which is aimed at detecting and arresting impaired drivers throughout Ocean County. As part of this agreement, Brick Township agrees to provide manpower when needed for enforcement. Township receives a flat hourly rate reimbursement for the police officers assigned to this enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-7.
47A is an inspection fund release for Block 549, Lot 7, in the amount of $4,835 and a performance bond in the amount of $53,560. 7B is an inspection fund release for Block 673, Lot 8, in the amount of $1,271.60. 7C is an inspection fund release for Block 685, Lot 2, in the amount of $649.12.
4-8.
Thank you. 8A is 100% DAV widow or veteran deduction at block 194.15, lot 14. 8B is 100% DAV widow or veteran deduction for block 270, lot 60. 8C is 100% DAV widow or veteran deduction for block 974, lot 1. And 8D is 100% DAV widow or veteran deduction for block 1192.08, lot 95. 8E is 100% DAV widow or veteran deduction for block 1328.06, lot 20. 8F, 100% DAV widow or veteran deduction for block 1362.32, lot 18. And 8G is a tax overpayment for the year 2023 at block 377.08, lot 17.
Thank you. That ends our consent agenda. Can I please have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. I'm going to open it to the public for questions on these resolutions only, and I would like to remind everybody that there is no applause or comments from anybody else, anybody in the audience, and the only one speaking is the person back there.
Sam Foster, 102 Drive, Brick. Two questions on the resolution, the consent agenda. First one is number 4, DWI enforcement with OC Prosecutor's Office. Does this shared service agreement have any sobriety tests associated with it, like roadside stops or anything like that? In other words, is there going to be an increase in the amount of sobriety stops, checkpoints, DUI, DWI checkpoints?
This is a grant we get every year, correct, Mrs. Burton? That's correct.
Is a grant.
So we just
So-
provide the manpower, we don't dictate how many and where the prosecutor's office chooses to do this, correct?
So that comes to the prosecutor's office. All right, I'll talk to him about that then. Okay, the second thing is, maybe I should talk to the prosecutor's office about this as well. What provisions do you have for citizens to report a concern about someone being, someone's possible intoxication? Like I've seen people, I've almost been hit by drunk drivers a few times. That's why I don't drive at night anymore. Is there an emergency number, an 800 number that someone can call and is it available 24 hours a day? Does anybody have information about that?
911.
Just call the local police wherever it's at? Okay. Second thing is resolution number 6. What does the drug recognition expert call-out program actually do? What is it? What is the duties actually entail doing?
As far as I understand, again, it's the prosecutor's office.
Could you speak into the microphone? I can't hear.
I'm sorry, oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a slight hearing
Nope,
loss.
that's
I have a
okay.
hearing loss, so I can't really hear pretty well.
I understand you, Mr. Foster. I wear hearing aids as well, so I'll speak a little louder. As far as I understand it, the prosecutor's office will call out when they pulled over someone, when there's someone that's been pulled over that they believe is impaired.
A drug recognition expert is a sworn officer that has been trained in a training program to qualify them as a drug recognition expert, and it's from what I understand, it's looking for signs and symptoms such as staggering, glassy eyes,
Yeah,
slurred
gotcha.
speech, etc.
Yeah, so does that also include something along the lines of, say, contacting the judge to have a court order to have a blood sample drawn? Or is it based upon the recognition of the expert itself?
That I'm not sure of. I'm not sure of whose authority that actually gets done.
Okay, all right, that's it. Just those two questions. Thank you.
But I'll find out because I'm curious now. Thank you.
Okay, you got my contact information. I've gotten emails from the Township before. Just give me an email. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else on the consent agenda? Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilman Minikino.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to 4.9, Bill Resolution Computer 2023.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $2,555,134.08.
Motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public on the bill resolutions only. Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilman Minikino.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to 4.10, Bill Resolution Manual 2023.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,918,683.97.
May I please have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public on the manual bill resolutions. Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilman Minikino.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to our ordinance on first reading. There is no public hearing on first reading. 5.1.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code of the Township of Brick to lower the speed limit on Herbertsville Road.
Thank you. Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. In July, the township received correspondence from Ocean County Engineer John Ernst in response to complaints received from multiple residents regarding speeding on Herbertsville Road. 2 speed surveys were conducted along that portion of Herbertsville Road. The first from January 17th of 2023 to January 23rd in the vicinity of Sawmill Road. The second from January 24th, 2023 to January 30th in the vicinity of Albemarle Road. The county's speed study and analysis included field measurement of vehicle speeds, review of 85th percentile and average speeds, and review of the number of vehicles exceeding the speed limit by 5 miles per hour and 10 miles per hour. In addition, they utilized the Federal Highway Administration speed management safety methodology to determine a recommended speed limit based on various factors. The existing speed limit on just this section of Herbertsville Road is 45 miles per hour. The collected data supports lowering the speed limit to 40 miles per hour from Maple Avenue to Lanes Mill Road. For the township to agree to reduce the speed limit along Herbertsville Road from Maple Avenue to Lanes Mill, an ordinance must be presented to the county. The county will then install and maintain the required signage. Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance on second reading, 6.1.
We need to.
Motion and a roll call.
Mm-hmm.
May I please have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilman Minikino.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, ordinance on second reading, 6.1.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code of the Township of Brick in Chapter 18 Fire Department to be consistent with the state law regarding an exempt firefighter's certificate.
Councilman Minikino.
Thank you. The Joint Board of Fire Commissioners requested that the council consider amending the Brick Fire Code, specifically Section 18-2, members and officers. They propose including language that clarifies the age requirements for membership eligibility, specifically firemen of the age of 18 years and no more than 57 years of age at the time of their election to the membership. In Section 18-4, certificates of service, the Fire Commissioner requests adding the same age requirement as well as requirements to perform 25% of the fire duty during that period. The same language requiring performing 25% of fire duty is being requested in Section 18.5, 18-5 exempt fireman certificates. The request came as a result of the Fire Commissioner's plan to have the township's ordinance be consistent with the state statute 40A 14-56. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public on this ordinance only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilman Minikino.
Yes.
Vice President Zabzik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are moving along to public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to the 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Sam Forrester, Antigua Drive. I have two quick comments. They're kind of related to each other, so I'll set up, doesn't matter which order I do them in. First of all, I'm going to comment about the bill, ordinance on first reading. Since this is public comments, I can comment on that now, correct? Okay.
Comment.
Yeah, it's good. I'm a delivery driver, you all know that. I've been doing it for years, and I noticed I've seen a lot of speeding, not just in Britain, towns in general. And I was wondering what can be done in town to enforce traffic laws? Because I'll tell you, it's very dangerous, and I'm afraid of getting into another. I just bought a new car because I told the other one from some hit me in the side. So I have to pay a surcharge because I do deliver. I drive more often than other people do. I live off of Chambersbridge Road, and there's only one way if you come in the direction of Route 88 from Route 70. There's a left-hand turn. I forgot the name of that street. It's funny. I've lived here since 1978. I still can't remember that street. But as people do like illegal U-turns, and there's a police station like maybe a half a mile from the road, and it's just terrible. Now today I was in Tom's River, and same thing. They do the same thing. There's just violations constantly. Now I know that I do see the police a lot. They like to park in the Brick High School parking lot. I've seen them there, and also at 7-Eleven. I shouldn't tip off the public where the police are, but there's driving apps that show you that. Can you do something? Well, here's the second thing. I was in Lakewood yesterday, come back from delivery, and I saw that they have something new. They have what they call a monitoring tower, where it's like a scissors type thing. It's a platform on top where people can go and look out at it's near a high crime area. That way they can surveil the area and see if there's like suspicious people, things like that. How much would it cost I'll get ahead of myself. Can the council look into checking with Lakewood or whoever else uses this and see how much it would cost to put a tower like that to surveil areas of the town that we have had an increase in crime? Like it was reported in the newspaper, the Brick Police reported about the car thefts and things like that in that neighborhood. Then you could put up, it's not a fixed one, it's a mobile platform. So it can be moved around different parts of the town. And I thought that would be one way to deal with this, because when you're up at an elevated level, you can see more. And maybe, I don't know if a radar gun would work that high up in the air, but I'm not that technical with that stuff. But that would seem to me be a way of, if they see someone like doing an illegal U-turn, then they can call headquarters, and headquarters can dispatch a unit and, maybe binoculars or whatever. I hate to make this too technical, but it's that way they could call ahead and the police could pull that person over, or if you get their license plate, show up at their residence and do that, because it's really dangerous out there. It really is, not just in Brick. Like I said, I saw one man aired his car engine rev, and the guy shot right past me, and it was a 2-lane road. And he had a double yellow line, which means no passing. Everybody should know that. And he cut in front. He barely missed the traffic coming the other way. Swerved in front of somebody, cut in front of somebody, and then ran the red light, made a left-hand turn, and ran the red light. And just before someone gets injured, or like I said, I totaled my car. Fortunately, I wasn't hurt. But before someone gets seriously injured or killed, it's something for the township to keep in mind, or just to check into. I don't know how much it would cost, but Lake would give us an idea of it, something for you to think about, because we really need to have better enforcement of traffic laws, because there's a lot of dangerous situations out there. I see it all the time. I live off Chambersburg Road, and I'm on the road a lot because I drive for DoorDash, not just in Brick. Like I said, I lit Tom's River today, and it's just a dangerous situation out there. People get frustrated with the traffic, and like I said, in Lakewood, I was Route 9 South and then trying to make a left-hand turn onto Route 88 Ocean Road, and the traffic is backed up, and the traffic coming northbound on Route 9, you have to turn into as you're going southbound, sometimes the traffic backs up and it blocks the left lane of Route 9 North, and it's just a mess there, and people want to get in. So I saw one car driver totally ram another car because they wanted to get into, that road on Route 9 South, and they just got going, and the guy on Route 9 South honked his horn, and the person just kept going, clipped his fender, and tore the fender off. It was like, it's just a lot of road rage out there and things like that. I've seen the same thing in parking lots. I used to eat at Applebee's a lot, and I'd like looking out the window while I ate, and I'd see fist fights in parking lots and things like that, but just something for the township to keep in mind. I think the observation tower, would be a help, because the police could survey more, if survey is the word, more of the town. All right, thank you.
Next.
Let's see, I could do this without, is that good enough? Good enough. I'll read my letter dated October 5th. Dear Mayor Crate, Council President Heather DeYoung, John Sluka, by the way, 950 Sylvia Court, all Brick councilmen, councilwomen, the people of Brick, Ocean County, and the local news as well. Vehicles are a major source of air pollution, producing about 1/3 of all U.S. air pollution. The smog, carbon dioxide, and other toxins emitted by the vehicles are especially troubling because they leave tailpipes at street level where humans breathe the polluted air directly into their lungs. The major pollutants that come from cars include particulate matter, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide. Burning 1 gallon of gasoline emits 8,887 grams of CO2. Somehow the mayor and representatives, as well as the council members, need to take the lead and step up and speak about the New Jersey Turnpike Authority's commissioners on the assault on the residents of Brick and the whole of Shore Corridor. Day after day, week after week, year after year, the NJTA commissioners have harmed the health and well-being of the residents of Brick and Ocean County, and nothing of some substance is ever done. The commissioners of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority care only for their powerful backers who get them appointments on various committees and commissions. Over the years, the NJTA commissioners have voted to expand the parkway, its exits, and its lanes for what they said was the safety of the roadway, but in fact merely a source of revenue and payback to the unions, to construction companies, and other bureaucrats who hide behind closed doors to garner excess profits at the expense of the citizens. The people's representatives must stand up and fight for the residents who elected them to the high-profile positions of mayor, councilman, and councilwoman. For years now, various citizens have brought statistics printed in articles about autism, COPD, asthma, other diseases to the council meeting, but little is ever done to stop the abuse of living near the Garden State Parkway. Citizens are abused by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners, who are more concerned with the almighty dollar than the health of the children, mothers-to-be, senior citizens, residents, and workers. The council, mayor, and all the BRIC workers who are paid to represent the citizens should feel obligated to stand up, speak out, take legal action where necessary against the bureaucracy. The people's representatives should not have given up a 14-foot noise pollution and safety wall, along with an increase in the amount of trees and brush is needed along the heavily expanded Garden State Parkway. And that is the minimum that is required to limit the abuse of the citizens of the shore community. It is not too late. It is never too late to do the right thing and correct the damage caused by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commission, which along with the side of the Garden, along the side of Garden State Parkway in Evergreen Woods, Brick Township, Primrose Gardens, Greenbrier 1 and 2, and other areas in Brick Township, something needs to be done. Our citizens get COPD, asthma, and die prematurely from heart and lung ailments with every passing day. It is time to end the reign of terror of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners. Thanks for your time. I yield back a minute and a half.
As I stated at the last, Nan Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. I will do what I call a stream of consciousness. I will start off by recognizing myself for what I did in the early 2000s when the Friends of the Library effectively was disbanded, although they kept meeting, because the people before spent all the funds on a party and there was no funds. The Jackson Library was just starting up, and we had, Matt Turner was our treasurer, and Pat Turner was the secretary. They worked together. Matt came to me and said, he doesn't like to deal with the federales, his favorite expression. And he knew that I researched things. So he said, if you'll research and find out what do we need to do to get our 501c3 back in effect, he'll do the bookkeeping. So I researched it. I contacted Trenton and got the facts, told Matt what he needed to fill out in the way of forms, and we got it back. And I had a major part in that, and I'm going to take credit for it because nobody here is going to give me credit. And the next thing that I'm going to bring up is our roads could be considered dangerous by design. And there was a meeting that I believe Mr. Young had once, and it had to do with Smart Growth America, which I had been involved in long before she did. She claimed we had a big showing at that meeting. No, we didn't. There was a few people, and nothing ever got done. If you look on the internet, there is an update on it as of 2021. Read what it says, because our roads, the speed limit is way above what it should be at any point. The roads are not designed properly. They were designed properly for 1968 to 78 when Greenbrier 2 is being built, but they are not at all proper now. Somewhere in my studies, I read that hard right or left turns is not advisable. And when they didn't update the area around the turn from Chambers Bridge on to Burn Tavern, they put it into a real hard right at something like 45 or 50 miles an hour. Not recommended, but that's how you left it. I strongly ask, please have a day-long meeting at which residents can get to talk to people from the state, the county, and the township about the awful, awful state of transportation here in Brick. It's also a matter, back to the library. the biggest friend of the library was Dot Epstein. She basically started the Friends of the Library. She did live, I believe, to be 100 and was still trying to be involved in the library, but she was living in Greenbrier and there was no public transportation. She came here early on and lamented the fact that we don't have transportation to enable her even in an afternoon to get to a meeting at the library, and begged the people who were supposed to represent her as elected people, and I've said it too, I added my voice to it. But the poor thing, she just had to go into the meetings because there wasn't enough of us that had the time window to bring her to the meetings. She was a wonderful woman. She deserves a lot of recognition. I know Marilyn Largo probably is well aware of what Dot did. The other thing is the speed limit. The speed limits were set into effect between 1968 and 78. And those speed limits was a population much reduced from what it is. Greenbrier alone has something like 1,400 homes, so you can also double how many people are living there or close to it. Greenbrier 2 has 600 homes. These speed limits on any of the streets in Brick here should not be anything above 25 miles an hour, but they're way above it. So I know you're gonna tell me goodbye, and I'll be back next meeting, hopefully with the help of God, not too sure, and I will speak as I did today.
Justin Delaney, 301 Sandra Place. I didn't intend on coming here to speak tonight. My intentions in coming is because watching replays of some of the meetings over the last few months, there's been some disturbing things that have been done or said or not said when they needed to be said. But something took place tonight that piqued my interest a little bit and made me want to get up and speak. When you were passing the consent agenda on the resolutions, the gentleman whose name I don't recall, he left, specifically asked questions about 4.4 and 4.6. He didn't really get an answer. No one really gave him what they were about. Ms. Zappic even said, I'm curious, I'm going to look into that now. But then he continued on and unanimously approved all those resolutions. How often are resolutions approved that you don't have the answers on, and you don't really know what they're about, or what happens, or what takes place, or where the money goes, where it comes from? That I found kind of interesting, because if I'm spending money out of my pocket or someone else's pocket, I want to know where it's going, where it's coming from, and is it worthwhile? So to see resolutions passed unanimously by, how many are they up there, 6? Without knowing all the answers, because Ms. Zapcic spoke up, but nobody else spoke up behind her to say, oh, well, I know what it's about, let me explain. So that leads me to believe that none of you had any idea what the drug recognition expert call-out program is, or how it works with the prosecutor's office, and the funding, and the training, and everything else that goes on with it. So when I see something like that, I question everything in that consent agenda, and whether or not anyone on this council did their homework to see what was on it. Thank you.
Mark Vasquez, 440 Lonic Court, Brick, New Jersey. Today, I have 4 packets of complaints that are going to be filed against Mayor Lisa Crate, Councilman Ambrosino, Councilman Minikino, and Councilwoman Travis, if I'm saying her name correctly. The first one, and just to be clear, I'm going to show this again to the council so that you can see that I'm not lying. Mayor Lisa Crate and council members that are sitting on council sent a flyer out.
This is a government meeting. Do you have questions about
This is a public
the
comment. I can speak about as I choose.
It is not a campaign.
This is not a campaign.
Oh, you are.
Oh, so this is a campaign. So you're
No.
going to shut me out. And
You
I'm
are-
also filing an ethics complaint against you because you've chosen to pick and choose when people can speak, when people could ask questions. It only seems fair, right, when they're easy for you or when someone thinks they know the answer.
It's called public comments.
So this is my public comment. So my public comment will continue. Thank you. So let me be clear. This council and this mayor have made unethical actions against the people of this township. We pay your salary. We pay your benefits. It's time for you to answer. Last time I was here on the 26th, I asked you to reprimand this mayor for doing what she did. It's right here. She's the one that sent this. I didn't send it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't make it up. I didn't call John Catalano or any of the other candidates that are out there saying, hey, I'm going to come up here and talk about it. I'm frustrated. And again, it's even showing that the council president just tried to shut me up because it's hard for you to answer. It's hard to deal with, right? When you finished your comments, you gave me a dirty look, but I caught on camera, which will be nice to show the rest of the world, right? Because we're realizing that you guys for so long have done your deals behind closed doors and in the dark. And it's time to bring you onto the light. The crocodile tears last week after Charlie Bacon spoke. And you sat there and you spoke to him in a disrespectful manner. You didn't understand what he said. He asked a question on what we used the extra 17 police officers for. He never said anything that the police were bad or they were wrong. But yet, you attacked them. Why? Because I understand. It's political season. You're trying to keep your hold on the government. I get it. It's clear. It's not a joke. It's not funny. To me, I'm frustrated. Because guess what? People are coming to show me this same flyer saying, I saw what you said at the council meeting. And I'm frustrated. So I'm going to let the public know that if you would like 602 Maniloking Road, my office, if you would like to file an ethics complaint against the council and this mayor, come see me. I'd be happy to help you. I know some of the council members are on the ethics board, so I'm hoping that you'll remove yourself in the situation. I'm waiting for the Ocean County's prosecutor office to call me back in response to the ethics complaints. I am not letting this go. And if you think this is political, that's a joke. Because even if Mayor Lisa is elected and the council members are elected again, I'm not letting it go. Not at all. So for the next 2 minutes and 5 seconds, my public comment will be just to show you this. Heather Deanna, Council President, if you'd like to look one more time. Usually you don't, but it's okay. Your head is usually down anyways. Shame on this council. Shame on this interim appointed mayor. You're no John Ducey. Let's make that clear. Real clear.
Next, please. Yes.
Good evening. Mary Lou Powner, 101 Polk Drive, Brick Township. You're going to accuse me of politics too, but I don't have a choice because you shut off my responsibility. As you all know, I was a councilwoman here back in the 90s. I served 2 terms, and I chose not to run for re-election in 1999 as I was appointed recently
at that time to be the executive director of the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. Now, someone on your team, Brick Progress, was the name of the Facebook page, or is the name of the Facebook page. That's your friends, that's your party, Brick Progress, right? Posted a 2013 Brick Patch article where it was an article about a letter I wrote opposing Joe Sangiovanni at that time for mayor of Brick Township, right? On your Brick Progress page, you allude to this, you talk about this article, you don't say it's from 2000, well, it does say 2013, but somehow, like as if I'm opposed to John Catalano, right? You people are liars. You lie. But then again, what do we expect from Democrats? You lie all the time, all over the place. It's patently false, right? I responded to this issue on that page. My response was taken down and I've been blocked from that page. So I'm here tonight. My letter back in 2013 doesn't even mention John Catalano. I didn't even know John Catalano. In that year, John Catalano was appointed to the council in August, not elected in November, and out in December. He was there for a nanosecond. My article had nothing to do with John. As a matter of fact, I didn't get to start to know John until about a year ago, right? And I will tell you that I absolutely love John Catalano. I've gotten to know him well. He's an honorable man who's had a business in this town for 40 years. He has served honorably in the assembly, and he's giving up a job that you all know he could stay there until he chooses to die in that seat, right? He's giving up his assembly seat to run for the mayorship of this town because it's critical, because you people have failed. The 2000, and that you're calling him, and I will tell you, John Catalano has never in his life voted for a tax increase, but Ms. Crate has. John Catalano's never voted for a tax increase. The 2011 referendum was a thing. There's an article here that I have. The township would have had to lay off 171 people, 29 cops, the rest of them, the bulk in public works. It would have eliminated garbage pickup and recycling. And I'll tell you right now, the PBA and the unions of this town worked with the Republican leadership to get that referendum passed. The Democrats in this town were asked, your team, Brick Progress, Brick Democrats, the Mitch Syme team was asked to join in that in a nonpartisan, bipartisan effort for the betterment of this township. And you said no because you were going to use it for political purposes down the road. And oh my God, was that the truth? Was that the truth? 29 cops would have been laid off. That would have been about 25% of our police force then. We would have no garbage and no recycling. We'd all be paying waste management or somebody else today. In a town like Brick Township, where a vast majority of people are blue-collar folks, that's a horrendous decision. And for you to try to allude that John Catalano had anything to do with that mess is just dishonorable. But then again, what do we expect, right? What do we expect? You know, you people could have joined in a nonpartisan, bipartisan effort to save those jobs. You chose not to. Let me repeat. I love and respect John Catalano, and he is going to be a phenomenal mayor for this township. Phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you right now, what you people have overseen in your years, you've ridden. You could have repealed the 24% tax increase. When you came into office, you could have repealed it. You could have reduced it. No, you've spent the surplus that resulted in that, and you've spent it down to the point where there's nothing left. Although I would question, geez, somehow, I think the building department makes about $800,000 a year over and above its costs, right? Well, shouldn't fees have been reduced? Or, maybe more to the point, more inspectors hired so that people wouldn't be waiting months for inspections. So you people are dishonorable, and you all deserve what's coming to you.
Thank you. Yes.
Charlie Bacon, 366 Rancocas Drive. Good evening, Mayor, Council President, the rest of the council and the administration. At the last meeting, Mayor, you mentioned that crime is not isolated in Brick when you spoke. Well, after the meeting, I talked to somebody that confronted somebody that was trying to break into their house and talked about what you said. And somehow they were pretty upset about that. And quite honestly, just because there's crime in other towns, our community doesn't care about those towns per se. That didn't make them feel any better. At the last council meeting, I identified a series of crimes that have happened over years. Those videos were given to NJ12 and some of the other outlets. That was a result of people having enough. In addition, under a Democratic-controlled state house in Brick, crime is up. Fentanyl has infiltrated our town, and overdoses are up as well. As a result of the S2 law passed in 2018, where we were going to lose $22 million over the course of 7 years, this council waited 13 months to put an ordinance right in front of a campaign event. As a result of that and other cuts, we've had teachers, support staff, administrators, and everyone else lose their jobs. Class sizes are up at unacceptable levels. The amount of English-speaking language students in our school right now is up at all-time levels, where we need more aides and not less. And now, more recently, let's talk about post-COVID-19, and I've spoke to the Board of Ed about this as well. Parental rights have been trampled on completely. The state controls the curriculum. I also spoke to the Board of Ed about this as well. This needs to be done at a local level, not by unappointed people in Trenton. I was going to say, some of this administration has jumped on buses to protest, written letters to the governor, and even written and passed multiple ordinances about all the things that are going on in this town. And the governor, the state house, not one person has responded to you or done anything to help our community. For weeks, you've sent out information in this community that does not mention you or Democrats. This is a deliberate messaging to avoid being associated with the government. Now, you have a binary decision to make. Are you Democrats, and we will continue to get no support from the State House? Or are you going to abandon the party that's abandoned you and our town, and you stand with Brick residents? Good night.
Anyone else? Yes.
Jim Palmisano, Winding River Road, Brick. I'm amazed to hear people finally speak up. I think everybody's sick and tired of being sick and tired. I came up here tonight to talk about what I've seen in literature coming through my mail as well. Re-elect, re-elect, re-elect. Good portion of you folks haven't been elected at all. So I don't know why you're saying re-elect. Is it willful deception, or is it just an outright lie? You folks are in absolute lockstep with the liars in Washington, the liars in Trenton, and now it's leaked into the liars of Brick. And we're tired of it. We're absolutely tired of it. You talk about that 2011 referendum with the $24 million or whatever it was. Ms. Powner was absolutely correct. You absconded the money, it disappeared, it's gone. If you were so concerned about the money and so concerned about the citizens, why didn't you give them a tax cut? Why didn't you give the money back to the citizens instead of just spending it? It's not your money. Why should you have any accountability? I asked this body several months ago, where is the additional money from our additional taxes that are collected since Sandy? All the waterfront homes, we have more waterfront than any other town in New Jersey, you cannot find a waterfront home under $1 million here. Those homes are paying 25, 30, 35,000 and higher in taxes. This body sat here and told me that we haven't received the income from pre-Sandy results. Absolutely amazing. I'd also like to ask this board, this council, where is the money from Sandy that was given to us from the state? What happened to all that money? Has that been accounted for? Has it all been spent? I'd like to hear where it is. And I'd also like to see if we've received any money from COVID, from the federal government and the state government with regard to COVID. Where is that money? Where is that being spent? Or is that squirreled away? I ran a business for decades, a very profitable business. You cannot have 0% increases for years and years, and the budget balloons, and miraculously we find the money. Where's the money? We have that many grants here. I tell you what, I think the lies are over. I think you need to be honest. I too recognize not anywhere to be found is the word Democrat on any of your literature, any of your signs. Are you embarrassed to be a Democrat? Do you want to be a disassociated? How can you say that you're conservatives and you still carry the label of a Democrat? It's disgusting. Get honest. You can't be honest with yourself. If you have to pretend that you're really somebody else, I'm following this character. That tells me that you have no thought on your own. You don't have any policies on your own. You have to follow the lead of someone else. I don't want a turkey that follows the leader. I want a leader. I want a leader in this town. And I want people that support the leader. Not just rubber stamp everything. Anybody can do that. We can get monkeys to do that. I want people who think on their own 2 feet and ask really deep questions and understand where's the money coming from, how is it best spent, are we serving the people of Brick Township? That's what needs to be done here. Not just rubber stamping and condescending. And Ms. President, the very first day that I met you at Farmers Market, you tried to throw me off public property, telling me that I was not allowed there, that it was against the law, and I asked you to bring me the law that would stifle my speech. That political speech is the First Amendment. It's the most protected of all speech, is political speech. And you have the audacity to sit and try and silence me that day. Here we are many, many months later. I haven't heard a peep from you. So all I'm saying is wise up. There's an election in 30 days, and I think the people of Brick will speak loud and clear.
Anybody else? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen?
I have nothing further, thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. So I just want to make a few announcements. I need my glasses on so I can actually see. Thank you. I want to thank everyone who came out last Saturday for our Pickup Brick for Bretton Woods. We had a huge number of people come out, volunteers, about 75 people. It was families, it was students, people who lived in the neighborhoods nearby, and also people from all around town who came out to clean up Bretton Woods. We did, it's always funny when we do these different cleanups around town when we do Pickup Brick. It's amazing that people discover areas that they didn't really realize existed. So if you go behind Bretton Woods, there's a lot of fun trails to walk or ride your bikes, or cut-throughs in the woods that are really cool. And I think people really understood the meaning of saving that property and how cool it is that now we have it as green space for our town. And we had a lot of people come out, and I want to thank the students and families who showed up to volunteer to do that. Also a shout out to Vin Palmieri. He's the person who put that together. He did a great job organizing, and we have some plans for more cleanups around town as we head into even the colder months. So it's a little less buggy and a little easier to see the garbage when the leaves aren't on the trees. So we're looking to maybe do some cooler weather cleanups as well. So keep those in mind and watch out for those, especially in our weekly newsletter that we send out. I want to thank the Brick Memorial marching band. They invited me to their competition, and I attended on September 30th. It was great. It was a rainy Saturday, but it ended up clearing up in time for the competition, so congratulations to all those bands that competed, and thank you to Brick Memorial Marching Band for their invitation and their generosity in allowing me to participate with them. On Monday, this October 2nd, we had a grand opening for our bike and scooter park at Emma Havens. We had a lot of kids out there and, teens who were, doing their thing on the bike and scooter. And I just want to point out, skateboards are permitted there as well. It's mostly for bikes and scooters, but we're not going to turn around skateboarders if they show up there as well. There's a little bit of something for everyone. There's a little bit more work to be done there, but it's officially open. There's going to be another 6-foot pad laid around the outside, as well as some fencing so we can keep it closed during off hours, and during school hours. It's really not open during school hours either. But all those other times, we invite our people who do BMX biking and scooters to come on out to the new bike and scooter park at Emma Havens. I also, on October 7th, had the opportunity to go to another band's competition. Brick Township had their marching band competition on Saturday. It was raining again for a portion of the day, but they were able to pull it off, and it was nice and cool, crisp weather, which is what a band competition should be. As a former person who used to be on color guard, I could appreciate the crisp weather, and all the bands did a great job. So thank you also to Brick Township for inviting me out to participate in their band competition. Our craft fair was a big success. It was moved to Sunday, again, due to rain, but I think we still had a great turnout. And also, thank you to all the families and volunteers who came out to assist us on Sunday at Havens Farm for our annual Challenger Halloween event. It was really well attended, and the weather was great, so we were happy to see those families out there. I had the opportunity to sit this week and meet Isabel Bartolucci. She is going to be our newest Eagle Scout here in Brick Township. She has worked on cleaning up and fixing up the flagpole area and all the signage outside of the Brick PAL. I recently sat down with her and did a great conversation, so you can look for that as well. She talks about not only her project, but the importance of scouts and scouting, and she also does some encouragement to have people join in and visit her troop in particular. If you're in high school and you've always wondered about scouts and you thought, well, I haven't done Cub Scouts yet, maybe I shouldn't join. That is not the case at all. They're always looking for new members, so if you're in high school and you've always wondered about being in Scouts, you can certainly reach out to Isabel's troop to visit them. Just watch for that great conversation. We have all the information up during that conversation. Also, if you'd like to go to the flagpole dedication, Isabel will be doing that this Sunday at 2 p.m. at 2 p.m. at the PAL. So please join us to join her for the dedication of that flagpole in the front area of the Brick PAL. Thursday, coming up this next week on the 19th, we are going to have the very long-awaited, very excited ribbon cutting for our new senior center on Aurora Place. We're very excited about that. We're excited about having our seniors come out to join us for that event, and anyone else who would like to join us for that event, we'd be happy to have you. We're really excited about this. Our seniors are very excited to have a senior center that's more centrally located in town. And though I have not seen it the way it looks now, I did see it as it was being worked on, and all I hear from everyone that's been able to walk through is how beautiful it is and how bright and welcoming and cheery it is. So we're very excited to be doing that on the 19th at the Senior Center at Aurora Place at 2 p.m. So we hope to see you there. Our trunk or treat is coming up on Friday the 20th. We have lots of trunks and lots of treats to give out. We also have our annual costume contests, as well as who has the best trunk. And again, we love to do a big trunk for the mayor's car. And I'm very excited for the younger kids. I think they'll enjoy this enjoy this year's trunk that we're putting together. So please come out, say hello. I believe there is a sign up through Recreation. There's 3 different times that you can come out with your children, and so please check online, and we hope to see you there. If you like picking up garbage, I talked about pick up brick earlier, but we do have a Clean Ocean Action. Our clean sweeps, our beach sweeps are coming up on October 21st. They'll be at all 3 beaches, so our Windward, Beach 1 and Beach 3. If you'd like to join us, I believe it starts at 9 a.m. And finally, 2 more things really quick. I always like to do a shout out to our Visitation Community Lunch taking place on the 19th. You can arrive around 11:30. There's a little library exchange you can do for books and things, and then lunch is served at 12. And a little birdie told me that the theme for this month is pumpkin. I wonder why. I'm very excited. So looking forward to that. If you come out, I'd love to see you for lunch. And finally, I know we're all looking forward to Fall Fest. It is going to rain again this weekend. Hard to believe, but I think that's 3 or 4 weeks in a row. And because of the fireworks and the fact that we have so many people participating and it's outdoors and it really looks like full-on rain for Saturday and most of Sunday, we are moving that event to the 28th. So please join us on October 28th for Fall Fest and our final fireworks show, and we hope to see you there. I think I've covered it all, and thank you very much. Moving on.
You took most of my stuff.
So sorry, I can't help myself.
Mr. Keneally? Madam Clerk?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Murphy?
No, thank you.
Councilman Albans?
I have nothing.
Thank you. Councilwoman Poncherero?
Thank you, Madam President. First, last Friday, I had the honor of helping to host the Italian flag raising. We had President DeYoung in attendance. We had Joseph Vicari, Commissioner, also in attendance. It is vitally important to recognize and pay tribute to those of us who came before us. We have in Brick and in Toms River the highest amount of Italian Americans than any other towns, from what I believe, throughout the country. When we hear things about changing our Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, I say there is a time and a place to have Indigenous Peoples Day, but don't take away the only day out of the year that we show tribute to Columbus. Not only that, to the great Italian Americans who came here, immigrated here legally many years ago, came into this country, assimilated, used their hands to build our skyscrapers, our buildings, and faced extraordinary discrimination at that point in time in the 60s and 70s. It's important to always recognize where we've come from when we look ahead to see where we are going. We cannot forget the efforts of all the great men and women who are of Italian American descent. It is the one day a year that we recognize and share in that culture. So I appreciate all of the men and women of the fabulous UNICO organization, which is an organization that was formed to serve others, recognizing the Italian heritage and then helping those who need the help obtain scholarships, obtain education, obtain the tools that they need to make the country what it is, which is a conglomeration of all shades and ethnicities. So I think it's very important. I would like to see more people come out for the Italian flag raising. I also want to thank the efforts of not only Unico, but Michael Blandina, who has served on the Columbus Day Parade for many years and devotes himself to finding troops of artists, musicians, singers, dancers, and brings them from Italy. This year we were lucky enough to have a troupe from Puglia who came and performed right outside, and also to the brick high schools performed to share our culture and to see how beautiful it really is. Number two, we have a time and a place for political information. We are here at a government meeting to conduct government business. I agree with Mr. Palmisano, Mr. Bacon, and Mr. Palmieri. I would absolutely love to have an opportunity for the residents of Brick to ask all of us questions and have a debate. For over 20 years, Lion's Head was the spot that we would have our mayoral and council debates. When I ran initially and then a second time, I was so looking forward to the opportunity to hear from my adversaries what their thoughts and opinions were about questions from our residents. I am sorry to say we're not getting that opportunity this year. For reasons best known to the Republican team, we are not having a debate at Lion's Head. In fact, I have no understanding.
Please,
I don't.
or else you'll be
I'm not
removed.
speaking to the reason.
Sir, please move the meeting.
That if anyone.
Goodbye,
if
sir.
we-
Thank you.
I would love to have an opportunity to set up a debate. It is not too late. So I would really love an opportunity through whatever forum to give our residents the right to have.
Mr. Vasquez, please sit down or you can leave.
Okay, I'm not leaving. Is the attorney going to answer the question?
You can leave, sir.
Is the attorney going to answer the question?
This is not public comment. You may leave.
We're questioning whether what she
This
said
is
allowed in this body
this.
at this time.
Please leave. Officers, can you please get him to leave,
Attorney,
sir?
are you going to answer the question? Is there an attorney here? There is an attorney sitting right there. Is he not the attorney? Do you have time?
Everybody,
Okay.
stop.
We're going to file complaints against you. You can take me on. I'm okay. I'm not.
You may leave.
No, I'm not.
Thank you.
No.
You may leave.
Will the attorney answer the question?
You may leave.
No.
Yes,
Will the attorney answer the question?
you may leave.
Will the attorney answer the
You are out of order.
That's fine.
This is.
This is the most.
You may leave, sir. You may leave. Everybody. Councilwoman, you may continue.
Thank you so much. For whatever reason that the debate did not occur, and I'm not casting blame on one person or the other. Frankly, I just think it needs to happen, not for myself, but for our residents. Why don't they have the opportunity to have what they've had for 20 years, which is the right to get their questions answered in the right forum. Not here where someone's just looking for a sound bite or looking for some, catchphrase words to get attention. That's misleading to people. It doesn't give them a complete picture. So my point is, I would really wholeheartedly hope that the powers that be, I am not running for election this cycle, but I would love to see a debate occur like it has for over 2 decades. Have a fabulous night.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. I actually just wanted to take a moment to highlight a charity event that's going to be happening here around town. There's a 5K road race that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's the second annual River Rock and Run 5K relay. It's going to take place at River Rock Restaurant on Saturday, November 4th at 9 a.m. It's a unique road race where you run half of the 5K with a baton, then you pass off the baton to your partner who repeats the race, and at the end of that, you've finished collectively 5K at the waterfront. You could get team photos. There is an amazing post-race buffet at River Rock. Runners could also do the whole thing solo if they like. There are lots of great local businesses that have donated prizes. There will be raffles. 100% of the proceeds go to Fulfill, which is a food bank in Monmouth and Ocean County. Last year's race raised over $4,000 for that charity. Team categories include students, families, co-workers, male, female, and mixed relays. For anybody who's interested, you can register at raceforum.com/riverrock. That's raceforum.com/riverrock. Thought that was an interesting event. Hope we see some folks out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Minikino.
No, I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Council Vice President Sass.
Thank you, Council President. So we've heard a lot of words thrown around in this room tonight: ethics violation, backdoor deals, lies, overdoses going up. I'm not exactly sure where to start, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a math lesson. So the township's rateable base in 2011, Mr. Pompsano, was $10,665,873. In 2023, it's $10,550,818,600. That's a net loss of $114,625,270. So in answer to your question, our rateable base is still not back to the pre-Sandy levels. So let me explain it kind of plainly for everyone. When you get your tax bill, there's 2 portions. One is the property and one is the improvement. The improvement is your house or any other accessory buildings that are on your property. You'll notice that the improvement is the largest part of your tax bill. If there's no improvement on the property, we're only collecting the taxes on the property portion. So that's why that number is there. So it's not like money disappeared. The money was never collected to begin with. You asked about the Sandy grants. Most, if not all, grants these days work on a reimbursement basis. So you're expected to spend the money and then get reimbursed. So that's where the money went, to reimburse the town for the expenses, the cleanup expenses of Sandy. A few weeks ago, you asked about a forensic audit. A forensic audit is done every single year. It's required by state law of all municipalities. The audit is a public document. You can open it. For the 10 years that I've been on this dais, there have been no material findings. So there's a lot of stuff that's being thrown around in this room, frankly, by people who don't know what they're talking about, okay? So I would suggest that you familiarize yourself. You want to see it up here, familiarize yourself with the budget documents that are on the township website and learn a little math. Now I'm going to go on to a history lesson. I'm going to start with a quote, especially since the referendum was brought up. The township will be unable to balance its 2011 budget at current staffing levels if a referendum is not passed by the taxpayers. This statement by Deputy Business Administrator Juan Ballou in a 2011 letter to the state notifying them of Brick Township's layoff plan to lay off 171 employees should a referendum of the voters to raise taxes fail to pass. Now, the operative phrase in that sentence is at current staffing levels, because those current staffing levels in 2011 included $1 million in salary and benefits for several patronage jobs, including Mr. Ballou's, that were added to the township payroll by the Acropolis administration. As Ms. Powner pointed out, almost a quarter of the positions in the layoff plan were the police department, 29 sworn officers, and 8 crossing guards. And this is after having disbanded the Selective Enforcement Team, also known as the Anti-Gang Task Force, the previous year. Now keep in mind, the department was staffed at 125 officers when that layoff plan was submitted. So the plan was to lay off 29 officers, taking us far below the 100 officers on the street. Now, this is also after the Acropolis team took $140,000 fundraised by volunteers from a dedicated township trust fund earmarked for BMAC, the township's youth drug prevention program, and spent it on Summerfest. Then when the state funders of the grant that BMAC also received put the township on notice that they were conducting an investigation regarding the missing money, the mayor and the council withdrew from the grant program, turning their backs on nearly $50,000 a year in additional drug prevention funding. Then, in 2012, as the opioid epidemic was escalating, Mayor Acropolis disbanded the BMAC program altogether and then lied to the 3 new council members, John Ducey, Sue Lydecker, and Bob Moore, telling them the program was too expensive to run. Even if that were the truth, too expensive to run when people are dying from overdoses on a regular basis in your town as they were in 2012? Too expensive to run when you've kept $1 million in patronage jobs on the budget, but eliminated the anti-gang task force, threatened to lay off police officers in order to pass a referendum, then left the taxpayers who voted for it holding the bag on a 24% tax increase in 1 year, and disbanded the only youth drug prevention program in town other than DARE. And now you all come in here and accusing this mayor and council of doing nothing about crime. When we restored BMAC, we restored the Special Enforcement Team, which is now the Street Crimes Unit, expanded community policing, hired additional police officers, bringing the force up to a full complement of 142 officers from the 125 it was back in 2011. Over and over again, this mayor and council has provided our police department with the manpower and the tools they need to fight crime in Brick Township. Take a look at the Brick PD website. I challenge you to find a police department in Ocean County that's doing more. And while you're there, look at the community policing page and expand the tab for Crime Prevention Unit. 3 of the programs listed, Neighborhood Watch, Youth Coalition, and the Prescription Drop Box, have been funded by the BMAC program since this council restored it in 2015. 2 others were started by the police department since 2014 with this council's support. So now I'm left to wonder, what more are you suggesting we do to combat crime in Brick Township? If you don't have any concrete suggestions to share when you come up to speak, and here's your binary choice, Mr. Bacon, is it because your remarks are political rhetoric in an election year, or are you suggesting that the men and women of the Brick Police Department aren't doing their job? Pick one. Either way, it's a disgrace. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. I have, please. Sir, you can leave. I just have a few comments tonight. We have Cedar Bridge Manor Park opening on, the ribbon cutting is going to be on October 25th at 4 p.m. And then I believe I mentioned last meeting, our senior services, they're offering appointments because it is open enrollment season for our Medicare, and which starts on October 15th through December 7th. So if you want an appointment with senior services to go over your options, please call 732-920-8686. Our next meeting will be on October 24th in this room at 7 p.m. May I have a motion and second to close?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.